Hello everyone, how you guys doing? It is Sunday, which is nice because I've been very excited to continue on with our Final Fantasy story. I hope all the audio is okay. It should be fine. Hey Katla, sorry I woke you up. Before I started the stream, I actually watched the trailer again and it's so good. I am so excited to see Alfie try out a new job and figure out like how that happens, and also just to figure out everything. There's so much stuff that's happening. Oh son, you are wiping away part of my face. Hold on. Hubby dearest. Trying to get his attention. It's very hard. Hey Thor. Hey Thor. Hi. Getur þú dregið fyrir? There. Hubby's gonna do the curtains. Yeah, I don't even know half of it yet. I'm really concerned because I keep on talking to Abe like outside of streams, and all I'm getting is like, oh, you're gonna like suffer so much. Like he's so evil. So that's concerning and exciting, but very concerning. There we go. Sun should get a little bit better now. It's it's the curse of having very white skin. Pardon me, sorry, I do not mean to cough in the mic. The screen does say we're playing Outlast. Let me change that. There we go. I thought I had made sure to change everything, but there was one thing I forgot. It was the title screen. Now, last time we were playing, we went down into the labyrinthos, where they do all their experiments. We followed the bunny guy. We turned into a frog, and now we know the council. They know something. They are preparing for something. Like they know bad things are happening. The issue is we don't quite know what they know yet, but we know bad things. So that's something. We're gonna have to figure that out. Should I throw food at hubby? Nah. I mostly just held up the nearest thing and kind of waved it around for him to see. He's very good at ignoring me while I'm streaming. He just kind of turns off that side. Long live Alfie Toad and Ali Toad. Yes! I became French. How did I become French? Oh yeah, I need to remember how to say the dad's name again. Dad's name was Fortuno. Fortuno, I think? I think so. Fortuno. And then we had Levier. I think I've got the last name. I'm getting that down. Fortuno. Fortuno, yeah. It's working. Let's jump into the gameplay. I was gonna try to make like an outfit for us today, but I couldn't figure anything out, so here we are in just the usual thing. We'll just have to live with it. We need to go down here. Oh yeah, I have like a bunch of Aetheryte tickets. I finished my fishing quest, the one that takes forever. I finished it. I recorded a whole thing about it, and my mic wasn't on, and I'm still kind of pissed off. Oh, wait. Splash. Now I feel better. So it can rain down here. Well, that makes sense. They probably have like dedicated times where it rains to keep things all nice and good. I've also spent good chunks of the past week tanking. Finished getting my paladin to level 70, yeah. And I'm getting my warrior to level 70 now, and I am enjoying the warrior so much. The warrior is a fun tank. Tanking is also a little bit easier than healing, so it really accounts well for me being a complete idiot at times. So I die much less as a tank, which is nice. Now we have to go find LSA, I think, who has the quest. It just has like question marks, but I think LSA had the quest. Last time we turned into a toad and watched things. I also just updated my auction, so that's why things are selling. Please try to ignore it. Except of course if something sells for like crazy much, then you can celebrate with me. Was it down? It's down there. Oh no! I can't jump down? Oh. Oh no, game. Oh, you're making my life difficult. How do I get down there? Wait. Do I have to go the cave again? How does this work? Oh shoot. Abe, do you have flying down here? Could you come and fly me down? How do I get... I can jump here. I cannot jump off here. Leave me alone. Wait, if I jump off now, I'm gonna die, so that's not good. Yeah, how do I get back to my quest? I think I have to go back through the cave. Because the guy here isn't gonna let me on the elevator. I didn't think this through last time, so... I will jog, I guess? Let's see. Abe, are you on? Abe isn't even online. Shoot. Well, I think then this way was to the caves. If I go down here, it should take me where I need to go. Wait, no. Let's go across the bridge. So, how are you guys anyway? You're still back home. Oh, you're not able to play right now. Oh, does that mean I have to do dungeons and shit alone? Some of the side quests in this area go into the environmental system. It is 35 degrees where you are, Abe. Oh god. That's just not livable temperature. I'm sorry. How you're not dead is, I don't know. Like if it goes above 20 here, the country just stops functioning. It's too hot. Oh, ether current. Let's grab you. Oh, Strider. So you play Genshin Impact and they had an update? That's pretty nice. Oh, thank you, Abe. You'll handle judging me in the dungeon even though you won't help me. I feel so nice. Not that I'm not constantly being judged on my abysmal dungeon skills. It will be fine. It will be fine. Maybe I will do really good in dungeon. Maybe it's just you. That, like, maybe you're a bad luck thing or something. Oh, by the way, I finally got the mount I wanted. Been saving up for this for a bit. Oh no, I forgot to do the dwarven thing. We're gonna do the dwarven quest. We'll do it next week. I cannot be arsed to fly all the way back. We'll do the dwarven quests on stream, slow and steady, over the course of few more than 10 weeks, apparently. But I could jump over it. I like this. This is funny. Wild accusations, Abe. Are you sure? I am fine in dungeons. Every time I'm not with you. Incidentally, I am also always in dungeons with you when I'm on stream, so you cannot confirm or deny the fact if I'm good or not on my own. Ah, glowy flowers. This is so chill. So relaxed. This is a relaxed start to a stream. Still annoyed I forgot the dwarves. I need to get that into my routine. I was so excited. Yeah, I'm good off streams. I have been an excellent tank all week. We just don't talk about my healing, but I'm an excellent tank apparently. I don't die, I keep relatively still. Secret. I'll never tell you. It was here somewhere, right? Up there. You know, maybe I've caught up with the story and I'm part of the world first team. It's just a secret. Hello. If you happen to cross paths with Erenville again, I should like to thank him properly. Okay, Alyssa is staring off in the direction Erenville departed. A thoughtful look on her face. No title? Need a good one. No, I'm not good with titles. I have plenty of them. Somewhere. I don't even know how you put them on. But I usually never use titles. Didn't use them much in WoW either, here. But I have a shit ton of them. This. I have 2 pages of titles. I might go with Fate Touch, but my headphone is glitching out again. It wasn't doing this yesterday. Don't know why it does it. But I don't know, I'm not good with titles. They're all really fancy, but it feels... Every time I look at them, they just feel like they don't fit me. So I get titles. But meh. What duty could warrant the direct involvement of the Forum and the commitment of all its resources? Judging by what we just heard, none of the gleaners were offered any kind of explanation. At this point, it seems abundantly clear that we'll learn nothing new by pressing them further. Annihilator fits me as a healer. You're an ass, Ape Casino. Sorry, I don't know why it's glitching out now. I had a full good most of the week, no glitches in the headphones. Now it glitches. We should head back to Istola and Kryl for a moment. See what they think of this. It's glitching out a lot. Why is it doing that? Hold on, I'm trying to adjust things. Because I don't know what causes them to do this. Sometimes they're fine, sometimes they're not, and there's no rhyme or reason behind it. Maybe it's just that my PC hates me. Okay, I need to remember this is not shortcut. Because if I go up there again, I'm gonna have to run all the way around. So let's not do that. So yeah, if I suddenly turn quiet or weird, that's because the headphones are acting up. As I say, they've been good all of the week. They were good this morning, and then I had to restart the PC, and now they're shit. And I don't know why. I really wish I knew why, but I don't know what causes them to act like this. But I can hear it when they click out and in again. Maybe Cutler's trying to sabotage the stream? Maybe she is glaring at the headphone string like it's nobody's business. Wow, these mushrooms are big. They're bigger than me. Look at this. It's bigger than me and Mittens combined. That's adorable. Okay, Yestola. We did the thing. We are no longer frogs. Where is Kyle? It's funny how normal the forest seems now. As a toad, it was all so much more ominous and threatening. That's because we were tiny. Welcome back. I trust you found Erenville then? Yep, we watched him talk to a forum guy. Interesting. I had a feeling you would learn something important, even if that something was simply a confirmation that no one knows much of anything. We should share it with Kyle, then discuss how we would like to proceed. Assuming we find her back at the farm. She was still behaving oddly, so I bade her return and rest there. Perhaps not the best decision, in hindsight. Would you mind checking near those flowers he was entranced by? The rest of us can survey the more distant areas, just in case he decided to wander. Why did you let her walk alone? Wasn't it obvious that this was not the time for Kyle to be walking alone anywhere? This feels like just an amazingly bad... Almost out of character bad for Istola. Flowers were up here. Is this a matter of getting back up on the cliff? This way would be better. I don't know, this feels like a slightly more stupid thing than Yestola would usually do. She tends to be more cautious, thinks things through and stuff like that. But I am curious about the flowers. The flowers are super pretty. There she is. Hey, Kyle. You're at the flowers again, honey.
For you. The spell will keep it from wilting.
Oh, thank you.
She said you would need it for the journey ahead.
Who said what? Also, so pretty. I love it.
Will you speak with her now? I cannot hope to match Minfilia's clarity, of course, but...
Oh. She's gonna speak as Heidelin?
Thank you. Do not worry. She has lent me her body for only a moment. Just as I could not save the first from the flood of light, it has become arduous for me to interact with the physical world without assistance. Though I might converse with you for a time, the incorporeal form I assumed on the ship would be incapable of casting even the simplest enchantment. It is in the depths of the ethereal sea, the place to which all life returns, where my influence is greatest. After Minfilia's sacrifice on the first, it was to the sea, here in the source, where I ferried her soul. I wished that gentle spirit to find rest in the world she loved so well. Her, and another who may yet have a part to play, though that will depend on you. Take the flower, walk free, for you are free, to go where you wish, to believe what you will. That bloom will be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy. Surrender not to sadness, and see beyond despair. Walk free, and bear the light for others to follow. Together, raise it aloft and let it shine, till the end, blinding and radiant.
That was all too brief. Already she seems so far away.
I wish I could put it in my hair. Maybe we could see it change color.
My apologies if I startled you. Ever since we began our descent into Labyrinthos, I had sensed another's will, straining to reach out. Even with my particular talents, though, I was unable to make a connection at first, so weak and tenuous it was. Once I took hold of that wispy thread, imagine my surprise to discover it was Heidelin herself. Needless to say, it seemed wise to learn what we could before letting go. Her answers were more cryptic than I would have liked, but at least she left us with a guide of sorts, that unusual flower.
Yeah, exactly, Shinru. That was not ominous at all. Not at all.
Yes,
It was just...
we are definitely making progress.
You can't be serious. We've done nothing wrong.
Uh-oh. Technically, we are somewhere we should not be. Hey, Dad is here!
Master Fortuno, what business has the Forum with us?
Obstruction and suppression, apparently.
Mistress Baldessian, our records show you facilitated the Scions' entrance into Sharlayan by claiming them as assistants for your organization. We are aware of your investigations. After alerting the major institutions to the presence of potential troublemakers, we received word from an Archean custodian. A group operating under the auspices of the students, skulking about Labyrinthos and engaging in clandestine behavior.
Clandestine? We may not have entered Sharlayan as Scions, but we did naught to conceal our identities. our only purpose in this city is to seek the truth. I can think of no reason why our actions should warrant the Forum's intervention.
'Tis not our way to discourage the pursuit of knowledge, but the timing of such pursuits must be considered, not to mention their potential impact. With the world in chaos, we, the true caretakers of wisdom, have committed ourselves to an undertaking that demands the utmost discretion. And we will not risk its success by turning a blind eye to disruptive foreign elements in our midst.
Your children aren't foreign.
What then is to be our fate? Will you put us on a ship back to Eorzea?
The Forum will convene to examine your case. The results of said inquiry will determine your future in this city. As for your absent companion, he has already been detained.
But why? Is reading a crime now, too?
Reading is encouraged, celebrated even. Not, however, of the volumes shelved in the restricted section of the library.
But he's an Archon. He's allowed to go there. Right?
Refusing to comply will only make matters worse. Let us in a dialogue with the Forum.
Silence is often one's best defense. I would advise against prolonging the proceedings with frivolous discourse. But enough. This is not the place for debate. The rostra await.
He's not even gonna speak to his children, like, properly. Such an ass. The rostra is the hall, is the circular hall, I think. Yeah.
I didn't understand.
Thank you, Bixby. Oh, look at Craig's hair.
I was careless.
We would have been detained regardless. This way, at least, we managed to stay together. I trust your time within the Forbidden Archives was well spent.
The Forum will come to order. This inquiry is now in session. As Speaker-elect, I will be presiding over the day's proceedings. Master Fortuner, would you be so kind as to restate the matter which compelled you to summon your colleagues with such urgency?
As you are all aware, we recently denied Eorzea's request for Sharlayan assistance. Since then, certain individuals dissatisfied with our decision have taken it upon themselves to interfere with our work. They entered our nation masquerading as associates of the students of Baldessian. But these malcontents are better known as the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. These militants wield influence with both the Eorzean and Eastern alliances, and are inextricably involved with the crises presently afflicting the world at large. Loose in our city, these warmongers sought to meddle with and expose matters of state secret. What are they, if not a dire threat to be expelled?
Again, these are your children. You absolute piece of shit. Oh my god, I love her hair.
The good name of the students.
Galuf would be ashamed.
Hair is so precious. When can we get this hairstyle?
Galuf Baldessian was never one to forsake his fellow man. Even if this nation closed every door and retreated from the world, he would have found a way to help the Scions, help every soul of this star fight back against the coming doom.
A terrible enemy stands poised to lay waste to all we hold dear. In the face of such madness, Eorzea reached out to Sharlayan, a united front. Was your curt dismissal truly the best you could offer? Or are you so preoccupied with your momentous duty of an age unworthy of your attention?
Whence came this revelation?
From the mouth of a forum member within fortuitous earshot.
Then it seems your findings support my own.
Oh. Spill the beans.
The reason I visited the restricted shelves was to study records of the Forum's policymaking process, to better understand the historical trends underlying their most major decisions. At first glance, the positions of neutrality in war and the accumulation of knowledge above all else appear constant and consistent, the unchanging pillars of Sharlayan society. And once upon a time, I might have left it at that. These days, however, I am more attuned to the subtleties of governance, and so I noticed something odd. From a particular point in time, the purpose of these policies shifted. No longer was knowledge preserved for the benefit of society. Rather, society was to be gradually reshaped to ensure the preservation of knowledge. The most conspicuous and telling change was the one which befell Labyrinthos. Once little more than an oversized storehouse, an enormous allocation of funds saw it transformed into an advanced research and archival facility. Account on the finances of our Dravanian colony. The settlement attracted students from far and wide, and the connections and tuition fees thus acquired were funneled into further improvements for the archives. Now, there is no question that our nation's progress is tied to the acquisition of wisdom. Nevertheless, the vast resources diverted for this purpose borders on the obscene. But returning to the matter of when, our change in course appears to have been made some 270 years ago.
The very same period when Sharlayan scholars in the hinterlands began a formal study of the ethereal sea.
They discovered Ascians.
You found something, did you not? And
And
whatever
probably
it
the
was,
history.
gave rise to your oh so important duty.
Mind your tongue, Archon. If you had seen...
He couldn't.
Yes. We are bound by a duty we cannot ignore. Knowing this, what would you have us do? Abandon our vital work and join you on the field of battle?
He couldn't
We
mention
will
what
never
it
choose
what
the
it
way of the
was.
sword.
Because
We
something
will
choked him.
fulfill our mission, not through strife and bloodshed, but survival. Come what may, We shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight. Last breath.
Such misguided zeal.
Father, Fortunate. I fail to understand the stance you have elected to take. But by the same token, I have yet to find a compelling argument to counter the challenge you put to us in Gridania. Still, in the midst of my uncertainty, I must trust in myself to do what is right, as others have chosen to trust in me. So I will continue, as I always have, weighing the consequences of my every action, and allowing my hope for the future to inform my decisions.
That's quite enough. Have you all forgotten the reason for this assembly?
Skolok Monteshane. He's the head of the studium and an old friend of my grandfather's.
Honestly, every discussion devolves into some interminable debate. Terrible habit. Let's return to the topic at hand, hmm?
God, I would need this man to join all of my work
By
meetings.
their own admission, these Scions have resolved to fight alongside the Eorzean nations against the doom which swift approaches. But there exists no evidence of an attempt to incite our citizens to do the same. Furthermore, while our decision may well have been the correct one, we cannot simply bull our way through these disagreements without inviting doubts or objections. Put yourselves in their place. Who among you would leave a tome unopened if an elder forbid you read it with no reason given? No. If we're to quell further discontent, then we must conclude this matter with a fair and even hand.
Why doesn't he have a hat like everybody else? He and Fortuno don't have, like, the fancy hat. I understand the Speaker of the House, but everybody has the hat except those two.
We will have order! Master Monteshane raises some valid points. Keeping such concerns in mind, I propose we enforce the following measures. Until further notice, the students of Baldesion are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Sharlayan. You will also refrain from any further investigation into the Forum's decisions and duties. Failure to comply with these restrictions will result in the immediate expulsion of your Scion associates. Let us put this judgment to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. I count 51 for and 48 against. The proposal is passed. Students, Scions, you have heard the Forum's judgment. Pray abide by it, or face the consequences.
So those who
Honored members,
opposed
I thank you
wanted
for
us
your
to
time.
leave?
This inquiry is concluded.
Okay, bunny woman doesn't get a hat, but I mean, bunny people don't get a hat in this game for some sad reason. Well, that was not good. I apologize for the trouble I caused. I was pondering the significance of what I had just read as I left the restricted section. I think him in the restricted section is what we saw in the trailer, and knocked over the security mehmet on my way out. I promise to be more vigilant next time. Oh. You may encounter some raised eyebrows, but do continue to claim the students as your sponsor whensoever the need arises. I believe in the guiding principle of science, and I know my grandfather would have as well. My father may be right that I am still groping in the darkness for answers, but I need him to know that I would never stop searching. I owe that much to Arnwald and myself. Thank the gods for Scholar Monteshane. I absolutely loathe arguing in circles. Yeah, I want that man to join my work meetings because they take so long, because everybody has to argue in circles about every small little detail. It's infuriating. Well, at least we've been allowed to remain in the city, and our endless investigation have not been in vain. We now know that this mysterious duty of theirs began with whatever the Forum discovered in the ethereal sea. With our freedom so surely curtailed, however, we will struggle to learn aught more of substance here in Sjarlian. Okay, ex-state visitor. Alice has a look of dissatisfaction. I mean, doesn't she always? The overall picture has grown clearer, yes? But that's in spite of the Forum being so maddeningly vague about this duty of theirs. Why are they so reluctant to explain their actions in plain words? Survival, come what may. Is Father's work so vital that it takes precedence over his own family? Alfino? Alice? It is you. Please tell me their mother did know they were coming? When I heard you'd been dragged before the Forum, I came as swiftly as I could. I'm so very glad they allowed you to stay. Mother? Why have you not gone and said hi to your mom? Emilian's Levier at the service. And you fine people must be the scions of the Seven Dawn. How lovely it is to finally meet you. Oh. Mother, please, we don't wish to make things difficult for you. A word reaches Father that you were here. Oh, bother that. Am I to be chastised for speaking with my own children? I am well aware that you and Master Fortunos are not on the best of terms at the moment, but I've been absolutely desperate to see my darlings again. You will come by the house, won't you? I have gifts waiting. The timing couldn't be better. As a matter stand, we shan't be going anywhere until we discuss matters with Thancred's group and reconsider our options. Go visit your home. We will be back at the annex when you are ready to rejoin us. I'm not sure Malicity, what do you think? Go with your mom. Malicity, the Malicity Mal? What a splendid day this has turned out to be. Champion of Eorzea, I insist that you join us. I'm coming. Do you have cake? But we must be quick about it. Not for my own benefit, but should my husband return and find you enjoying our hospitality, the servants will be made to suffer the consequences. Why is that man such a sleazebag? Malicity, if you would be so kind to escort my children to the estate. Why would he take it out on the servants? They have nothing to do with this. And then she was gone, and with her any opportunity to protest. Indeed, the matter is settled. Enjoy yourselves, you three. We are actually gonna meet their mom. I'm sure Alphino thinks nothing of it. He invited classmates over all the time, but I wasn't the most... It was a different time for me, alright? So you didn't get friends over? I apologize. My mother is not one to take no for an answer. Still, I'm glad, relieved even, to see her in such high spirits. What say you, Felicity? Though it seems we shall have little enough time to enjoy it, will you accompany us to visit our home? Fuck yeah! Fine. If we're going, then let's get it over with. But be sure to stay in the entrance hall. No peeking into our private chambers, thank you very much. Why ever not? Your room was always perfectly neat and tidy. Everyone has things they'd rather keep to themselves, don't they? Cherished mementos. You couldn't bring yourself to throw away childhood toys. I mean, never mind. The Levier estate is that way. Straight down the stairs. Come on. I really wanna go peek at their rooms. That would be so nice. Get to see their personalities a little bit more. Like how it showed when they were kids. When Elsa and I were little, this bridge was as far as we were permitted to wander alone. I say alone, but my mother or a servant was always somewhere nearby, keeping a watchful eye. And now look at us, traveling to different continents, different worlds even. As children, Alphino and I would often wait here for our father to come home from work. It must have been a day when his meeting ran long, because I remember growing restless and leaning out over the railing to watch the water rush by. Father, of course, arrived at that exact moment, came pounding down the path in a panic, crying out my name. Oh, he thought you were gonna fall off. The Levier estate is in the northern part of Journey's End, just down the stairs from the Rosta. Oh, and please don't make fuss when we get there. It's only a house. It is a very big house. I've seen it. After all we've been through together, it's strange to be here with you now, to come full circle and see how much has changed. I mean, I can see why he would be worried if a child leaned against this, because if I lean against this, I can fall under. And they probably were not that much bigger when they were little. What is this place? Oh yes, this is where I first practiced magic on an actual person. Alisaie had fallen, you see, and scraped her knee quite badly, so I tried casting her the simple restorative spell I had only just learned. How she smiled when the wound closed. The joy and relief. That was, I believe, the very moment I chose the healing arts as the main subject of my studies. Aww, that's so sweet. We used to come here all the time with grandfather. In summer, I would dip my hands and feet in the fountain and splash about. Not Alphino, though. Even back then, he wasn't very fond of playing in water. He would make an excuse to avoid it, which would explain how I came to swim like an auk, and he sinks like a stone. Well, he's gotten better at swimming. It's like, it's a doggy paddle, but he's getting there. And here you are at last. Please do come in. Voice acting, please? Also, the dad is definitely gonna show up and ruin everything like a complete ass, because that is what he is.
Welcome home, my lady.
Just the house, they say, you know. The annex is smaller than this house.
What? What are you gawping at?
Servants! Do you see how many retainers you have? Sign headquarters must seem squalid indeed.
I'll have you know I'm quite fond of the Rising Stones.
Lord Fortuneau is not to hear of this visit. And I should also like the children to have their gifts, ere my husband makes his return.
As you wish, my lady.
Exactly, the house I'm trying to buy in game, a medium-sized house, is smaller than this room. Like, that's...
Master Alphino, Mistress Alice, if you'd accompany me upstairs.
We shan't be long.
I would not mind living in a house with all these servants. It must be nice.
The twins have been sending letters home from time to time, recounting their latest adventures. I am sure they withhold certain details, of course, if only to keep me from worrying.
I do hope so.
Yet a mother worries all the same. In the early days especially, I tried to support them as best I could, sending the Scion's coin and other such donations. Fortunately, they have found the strength to overcome adversity time and time again. Their words grow more confident with every letter, their depictions more vivid.
How did somebody this nice end up with this man?
Joys and sorrows. It is clear that they have come to find value in every experience. But of those they treasure most, it would seem that meeting you might be the most impactful. Why, since that fateful day, I do believe there has not been a single missive in which you were not mentioned by name.
Oh, that's really cute. Also a little bit embarrassing.
It is plain they care for you, and I am glad they have such a steadfast companion watching over them.
It's like they brought like a playmate
Under
home.
normal circumstances, I would offer you tea, but alas, these are anything but. In any event, why don't you keep me company whilst we await my children's return? Perhaps you might regale me with a tale or two of your exploits.
I know for some reason, later on in the game, you can dress her. I don't know what the context is behind it, but I know for some reason you can pick her outfits. Which is very confusing for me. I am very curious how we end up going from current situation to dressing this woman. Oh, they got the new outfit.
When you mentioned gifts, I wasn't sure what to expect. Mother,
At least they're not identical.
Oh, look how well it fits you. And the style is to your liking?
It's perfect. Exactly what I would have chosen. But please, tell me you had something different made for Alphino.
Naturally. You are hardly little children anymore. And while I shall miss dressing you in those precious matching outfits, I must respect the individuals you have grown to become.
That's good.
See for yourself.
Thank you for the splendid clothes, Mother. Stylish, comfortable, and eminently practical.
And not identical to your sisters.
I am so glad you like them. They are, however, missing one final touch.
If you'd allow me, Master Alphino.
Wait. Are these...
A sage's tools of the trade. They belonged to your father.
dad was a sage?
Though he may as well be chained to his desk these days, as a student he was often called upon to venture into the field. He wielded those armaments, both to heal and to harm in no few battles. None so fierce as those you two have braved, perhaps, but battles nonetheless. Thus did I pull them out of storage, to show you that he was not always the man who stands in vehement opposition to you now. And also because it would be a terrible waste of ridiculously expensive House Leveilleur commissioned artistry.
I like her. She is so nice.
I am told these devices are quite difficult to master, but someone of your extensive experience should soon have them darting about with grace and aplomb. May the wisdom in that crystal serve you well.
Like, she's so supportive.
Please, try to find common ground with your father, that you might come and go without need for this awful subterfuge.
Yeah, trying. He's the one being unreasonable. God, I love this woman.
We will, Mother.
I will get her the
I
best
promise.
outfits. I will make her so pretty.
My final gifts to you, before you run off, are an observation and a suggestion.
Okay.
Firstly, Fortuno has ever been a serious man, but it was only after you were born that he truly lost himself in his work. I may not know the Forum's inner workings, but I know your father's. The timing of that change in him holds some significance. Secondly, do not seek to best your father with words. Far better that you simply show him. Let him discover the merit of your actions, after they cannot be undone.
Do first, ask forgiveness later. Good thinking.
Oh, Mother.
I love this woman.
We shall take your wisdom to heart. Thank you again for these gifts, and farewell for now.
Safe travels, my children. Eat well, stay warm, and keep your friends close.
I promise I'll do my best to keep them safe. Please, could you dress me also? You pick some nice outfits. Not for yourself though, your dress is hideous. I'll help you with that in the future. But the kiddos got some amazing outfits. I would like some too. Ah, look at them. They look so good. And he got the new weapons. That is some amazing sage arts. And that was that. Only the gods know when we'll be back again. If you do the quest for her much later, she does actually give you an outfit. Perfect! Thank you for indulging Mother's request. I can see it means a lot to her, and I shall refrain from inquiring as to the content of your private conversation. A really nice one? Yes. Our visit was all too brief. For now, however, it will have to suffice, as will these tokens of home that we carry with us. These gifts to help us remember who we are and whence we came. But enough sentimentality. Let us return to the annex and rejoin our companions. The only issue I have with that outfit is that Alice is wearing heels. Because heels are just not practical battle outfits. Pet Katla? Hello. We'll do the pets. All the pets. Hello. She's being very lovable. I don't know if you can hear her purr. Because he's not that loud of a purrer. Aww. You wanna... Oh, don't get stuck. And now she's off. She's off, but she left me like half her coat, as always. Yeah. I mean, she's always with me in game, though. I mean, the panda gets to sit on me. Katla gets to be with me all the time. She's always gonna be superior. Yes. She's under her bed right now, deciding what she wants to do. Where am I going? This way. I got a little bit lost. Hey. Hold on, I know what you want. This? Filter. Ja, viltu? Here. Sorry, giving cat some catnip. So she's gonna now freak out on her bed for a bit. Oh dear. So for some reason she prefers for me to like put it in her bed. I am good. I am good. Nice to see you, Mr. Crow. I am good. My cat is on drugs. One more. Oh. Sådär. She doesn't really get very silly. She eats it and then she gets super chill and takes a nap. Enjoy your time with Olivier, I hope. Oh, that's how the twins fare, but their new outfit tell the tale. I only hope we can help them reconcile with their father, that they might return home one day with their heads held high. In the meantime, we edge ever closer to the secret the Forum strives to hide, and the flower bequeathed to you by Heidelin is sure to guide us going forward. I'm confident that once we heard your report from Thavnir, we'll be well equipped to plot our next move. Alright. What is my next quest then? In the dark of the tower. Ah! This is where Abe said I should stop, like, if I would reach this point in the last stream. In the dark of the tower. Kryle glances at you with expectant eyes. Since there have been progress in both investigation, shall we share the finding from our respective locales? Please do. This is where both paths come back together. Nice.
Your time in Thavnir has certainly been eventful.
It was mostly surprisingly full of puking.
Carrying out Vitra's request and assaulting the Tower of Zot should be our highest priority.
I agree. While I still have questions concerning the Forum and their
That was the
grand
intro to Endwalker.
we've all but exhausted our avenues of investigation. Simply pressing them any harder on the subject will almost certainly result in our expulsion. Therefore, I suggest we explore the ethereal sea connection by way of a letter to Master Matoya, then make our way to Thavnir.
I wonder, even with the protection these talismans afford us, what can we hope to achieve once inside the tower?
Have they gone to Thavnir, or are they going to be sick?
Cordola's report, they were unable to free the Emolja. Worse, their attempts triggered the tower's defenses, which led to a summoning of Luna Ifrit.
What does it tell us that the Spires even have such defenses?
Oh yeah, Endwalker is longer than the other expansions.
Thus the direct approach is doomed to failure from the outset. Any further measures to dissuade such actions seem unnecessary. Unless, of course, there is a way to free the prisoners without killing them. Then it stands to reason that any intruders will be met with overwhelming force.
The towers appeared throughout the world in but the twinkling of an eye. 'Twas by magical means these structures were raised, I surmise. A spire thus conjured must needs be maintained, and I suspect an arcane catalyst, some manner of core, doth lie hidden within. Destroy the core, and the tower ceaseth to be, thus liberating the captives without harm.
So we can hope, and I would prefer to enter the tower with a working theory than with no plan at all.
Assuming Ishtola's reasoning is correct, the chances of the defenses remaining dormant are small to none. Any primals will have to be dealt with, and defeating one will likely only lead to the summoning of another. Our every victory will only compound the prisoner's suffering.
May we not then divide our forces? Those proficient in healing will focus on sustaining the captives. That duty can be covered by Urianger, Kryl, Yostola, and myself.
And Alfie?
The remaining scions will proceed with the search for the core. Admittedly, this strategy puts both parties at greater risk, but it should bolster our chances of saving the Arcosodra by a considerable margin.
Aren't you forgetting someone? Like Alfie and me?
Of course not. As our most talented healer, we need you leading the van, fighting primals on the front lines.
I don't know if you should call me your most talented healer.
It seems we have a plan. All that remains is...
Seems kind of mean to Alfie.
I will inform Rads at Han of our movements, so let us make our preparations and regroup near the tower.
The military post in what's left of the Hamsa hatchery should serve as a convenient staging point.
It was a very pretty lie from him.
And remember, the experimental aetherite at the confluence is there for those who need it, so there's no excuse for being late.
I think that was like Graha going like, yes, my most talented healer, you're going with the fighting group. Because we all know where you excel. Murdering everything, even the people you're trying to heal. If anything, especially the people you're trying to heal. Okay, to the great works. Abe, you haven't suffered. You've simply enjoyed my growth as a healer. You got to see me when I was even worse. Now, where am I going? This is where I'm going. Oh, this feels slow. No, flying. It's so slow. Honest alchemist. Why do I feel like that alchemist is not honest? I'm gonna roll up on a raid boss to show the tower that I am not afraid. I am ready. I'm only slightly concerned. I love how anybody is mounted on this mount. It's just we're clinging on to this tower, going like, yes. I'm not gonna fall off. No. Perfectly fine. Strider says, I ended up doing Charlayan Labyrinthos first, so had the forum decision hanging over me the whole Thavnir part. Wondering what their supposed big task was. I think that would probably have been quite difficult. This is why you never use big mounts, because they feel slow. Yeah, I usually don't use big mounts, but this one is just kind of fun. But it does feel like I'm just slowly driving over. Sprint. Ah, our friends of yours here. We've been expecting you. You and yours will lead the mission into the tower, I'm told. The warding scale will be delivered soon. Till then, please stand by at the boat we have readied. Have, like, Alice and Alfie ever come here, or did they have to go the same way we did? I want to see them get ether sick. When your fellows arrive, I will direct them to join you. We pray for your safety and success. That would just be really funny, and a nice way to ease the mood a little bit. The tower looks really nice, said Knight. Like, it's pretty. I hate them, but they're definitely pretty. They have an aesthetic to them. Everybody's just buying my stuff right now. It's nice, but I could do with not all of these pop-ups. If this is the future of Aetheryte travel, I think I'll stick to boats. No warning, however empathic, could have prepared me for that. Have you had the thing to fix your stomach? On account of which we are a little late, but fighting fit, mostly. You can turn sail notifications off? Oh, I need to do that. My friends, permit me to thank you for accepting this mission. You must be, we should still call you Warshan, I suppose? Indeed. I will not do to confuse our soldiers. Very well then. For our part, we are humbled that you should see fit to entrust us with your warding scales. Please convey as much to His Excellency. One for each of you. Please accept them with my blessing. Our thanks. With these, we can go anywhere with those blessings of light. Anywhere those with the blessing of light can go. Yay! Not only for this operation either, but all the ones to come. We can finally break your monopoly on primals. Ooh, but primals are mine. I wouldn't mind carrying on as before, you know. I kind of like keeping my primals for myself. Ha! Spoken like our champion. Rest assured, we'll ever have need of you, though we'll do what we can to lighten your burden. But how am I supposed to take all the glory then? And the loot? If everyone is amenable to it, let us review the strategy for good measure. As previously agreed, we will divide into 2 groups. Melicity and her band will break through the tower's defenses and locate its core. Meanwhile, the rest of us will tend to the prisoners who will doubtlessly want for healing due to the duress of repeated summonings. The primals which the tower bringeth forth shall be deities of Thavnarian myth. As we have no prior experience with such foes, pray exercise the utmost caution when confronting them. Oh, we're probably gonna have to fight the sisters. That seems to be their, like, matriarch deities. We commence the operation at your word, my friend. For the people of Thanir, nay, the entire world, we must prevail. Indeed. This will be fine. Okay, let's talk to everybody and then I'm gonna sign up. The Radiant Host and I will be watching from the outpost, ready to act as the first sign of unusual activity. May the scale serve you well and protect you in lieu of Vitra's fangs and claws. Though our parties are separate, I will trust in you, as I know you will trust in me. Hold on. Do you remember how to reset the death counter? Let us both give our all and add another rousing chapter to the saga. This is the closest I've ever been to one of the towers. Says a sinister aura it exudes. Yes, please reset it. It's been a while since last I took to the field, and I can't help but feel nervous. But with everyone at my side, I'm sure all will be well. God. My nose is really itchy because my cat left so much hair on me. Was the death count for the people I'm supposed to be healing? We don't have that one. That one would break. It would give up. Aside from primals, within the tower, we shall for a certainty encounter enthralled Imperial soldiers. Defenders conveyed hither by means unknown, who will stop at nothing to hinder our efforts. Ah, there we go. Yeah, it was Death New. Lest you worry, I've not forgotten my healing spells. Be it restoration or destruction, the sorceress can command whatever magic the situation requires. With Histola keeping them company, the other party will be able to hold their own against the enemy if need be. So we can tackle our own task without worrying over them. Come, let us be about it. Bodies. Malicity is hiding bodies and body parts. I am not. At least nowhere you can find. First, this armor, blessed with Ratoskar's power, and now Vitra's scale. Matsa's chains for dragons to show me such favor. And with Nitok with me, in spirit and in hand, no obstacle will bar our way. Yeah, Estinian, his role in life has changed a lot. My warding scale is safely tucked away. I'm ready when you are, Malicity. I may not be the Azure Dragoon, former or otherwise, but I guarantee that I'll give as good as I get. I may have taken up new arms, but my role is unchanged. I am a healer, through and through. Yet in knowing the ones wore the Say's mantle, I wonder when all is said and done, will I look back on the battle I chose to fight with pride? You will. Don't worry so much about it. I would like to enter it with other players though, because with NPCs it takes a year and a half. Remind me to die in the garden when I log in next. Just checking, you know. Dig in the garden? No. No digging in the garden. It is forbidden. It's very important. Bad for the plants, you know. Ah, this looks ominous. I should tell people this is my first time. Yeah, go slowly would be nice. Though our our tank name is Biggest Dickus. And if you've ever seen Monty Python, you are gonna know what that refers to, and that is amazing. That went on the wrong person. half of the group is coming with us. Yeah, I just got this feeling that we are not going to be going slow at all. So let's try to do this properly. Like this. We got 2 ninjas with us. Interesting. Sense a great surge of ether as if a summoning hath begun. That's not good. Yep, sisters. Knew it. Okay, they're jumping down there. I thought they threw themselves off the cliff going like, what the fuck? There we go. I wish we had the red mage with us. Because if I would die with the red mage, then the red mage can rush me. But no. Oh, did you know in the latest patch, regen doesn't tick aggro anymore? I think you only get aggro now when you cast it, which is so nice. So you can actually just throw it on the tank without worrying about everything hating you immediately. Like, not that it should be happening too much, but sometimes if the tank hasn't gotten the aggro on fully. Okay, that's one of the sisters. Enjoy new boss music? Oh, new boss music! No. Suna. Heal. Oh! 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 Why are you almost dead? What is this? Go like so. Healer is good. What is that? Oh, why are you dying? Ah! Shoot! Okay, this is fine. I am fine. This is so fine. We are so fine. Why are you dead? You're not supposed to be dead. Everybody's dying and I don't like it. I'll put this on and then I'm gonna do this. And you need a Suna. Okay. This is fine. Go. Okay, this was the smallest sister. Somebody is following or joining or subscribing. Thank you so much for that. I would check it out, but I can't because I'm a little bit busy right now. But I love you. Okay. Need to get this on people. Get this on you. So... I need to do some lucid dreaming. I need to get sooner you. Hate new bosses. It's so stressful when I'm also trying to like just deal with a boss for the first time. I did not mean to glare there. Not, I mean... Stop and ground! Oh, you're all dying. Why are you all dying? Stop dying. Okay. Put this on. Asuna you. Death flower you. Okay. Oh, everybody's alive. Give me gear. Please give me gear. This is not for me. This is not for me. Damn it. The first and especially final boss in here are rather tough. It's not the friendliest welcome to the new expansion. Am I a dancer for this? No. I am the healer. I am a white mage. I am the one desperately trying to keep everybody alive and generally being very incompetent at my job. I really like healing, but it stresses me out so much. I think it's because I have a really stressful job, having to deal with all the kids. I can't relax during the weekend. I have to also have a stressful hobby. Why are you standing on something? Why is it always this guy? Goton. Is this an ability this person is doing, or are they standing on something bad? I'm not sure. Well, I used to only DPS in WoW, because if you messed up in WoW, it wasn't very pleasant. So I was very scared of doing anything that required more responsibility. Oh, the big brown puddle is a good thing. Oh, okay. But after I started playing Final Fantasy, I've actually done every role and enjoyed all of them. I like the white mates most as a healer, warrior the best as a tank. And if I have to choose, I think I would either like tank or heal, if given the choice. Otherwise, I quite like Dancer as a DPS. Bard is also okay, because both allow you to kind of run around. Dragoon is my favorite melee DPS. So this game got me to kind of open up things to do. Please stop dying, tank. Like, expanded my horizon of playing. What is this? It's an ugly bracelet. I thought this was like a headpiece. Ah, this isn't good for me. Yeah, warrior is surprisingly fun. It's also really funny as a Lalafell because you're so tiny, and I have a big glowing axe, which just looks like it's made out of rock, and it's so nice. I am wearing the best stuff I have, right? Yeah. Okay. We got this. It's good to know the brown stuff is actually good, so I don't have to keep on going out of it. Tank, I feel like you're taking more damage than you need to take. Probably aren't. I'm probably just being a bit of a diva right now, but you know, stop taking so much damage. Hyper-tuned. That thing looks like some... It reminds me of Garrett when he was infected by the Shah of Anger. Was it Shah of Anger? When he was infected by the Shah. It's a very WoW boss appearance. Anything good? No. Give me gear. Please stop dying, tank. The tank is flagged as a returning player. Oh yeah, good point. And isn't using much mitigation. Yeah. Okay, so it's not just me. I had a feeling they weren't doing the things on the ads. It's actually surprisingly important to use your mitigation on the trash, because that tends to do a lot more damage than the bosses actually. Oh, it's so creepy to see all the elephant people here in the walls. These poor things. This also all looks like... Oh, I was gonna say this looks like intestines, but the walls are literally moving. We are walking around in intestines. Okay, sister number 2. Okay. Go like so. Do not steal away our prosperity? Huh. Oh! Okay. Move. I am... Ow. I should probably stick with the group. What is this? Will be frozen in time when the counter reaches 0. Joy. I am stuck. That was a bad time for the counter to reach 0. Give this. I like the boss music though. Does it matter like which one we... This thing is so quick. Like if you aren't standing in the right place, then you're doomed. Let's go like so. And like so. Do this. Hit the one who don't move. Oh, okay. I'm frozen. One hell of a pose, though. Hit the one that's not. So this is the safe spot? Yep. So if you're a returning player, how long do you have the returning player symbol on you? Frozen. There we go. I was sharing you notice, but during that multi-age skill, party looks like boss. Huh. Getting the stuff. I think I did notice like a lot of smaller versions of the boss there for a second. But I did not notice it being us. Dude. You don't use enough mitigation to be like chain pulling anything, buddy. You just... Are you using anything? Damage dealt. Don't pull more! Dude! Death awaits you around the corner if you keep on doing this. Okay. Let's give you this, shift over. Multi-image, French keyboard layout sword. Oh, don't worry. My keyboard has like an Icelandic keyboard layout, but it sometimes randomly switches to English, and when it does that, it shifts some keys around, and all my smiley faces turn into angry frowny faces. And tank is dead. Get up, tank. Oh no, I used it too early. Get aggro, get aggro, get aggro, get aggro, get aggro, or I am gonna fucking die. Dude. Dude. I'm dying. He doesn't have the aggro. Okay. That was unnecessarily stressful. Is this upgrade? Yes. New staff for me. New staff is nice. Please don't go chain pulling again. Oh, I hate you. Like, I love your name. It's a great reference. You are not my favorite person at this moment. Isn't this like... Just... I am just spam. We're just gonna die. I'm ask him to go a little bit slower. Return status lasts 72 gameplay hours, okay. These are actually some of the biggest, hardest chain pulls in the whole expansion, by the way. Yay! I want to say though, I think I'm doing incredibly well. I have died once. It wasn't my fault. I think I've done very good this this whole dungeon. Abe, you should be proud of me. I even used my Asuna like a lot, which is good. If Abe does not compliment me in the chat right now, everyone has to boo at him, please. Being a bad teacher. Where is the tank? There's the tank. But yeah, I think it's fair to count that death nonetheless. Let's see if we go slowly. Okay, if we just do 2 at a time, that's fine. That's so good. Like, that would be lovely. Yay! See? Abe is happy with me. Why are you aggroing on me? It's odd, I think. Oh, shoot. That was my bad, that was my bad. That was definitely my bad. Let's go like so. I was so focused on Abe actually complimenting me that I forgot to do my job. Shame I forgot to heal, yeah. Now, Kellenwen is asking the warrior to use the defense spells. It would be nice. Okay, this would be fine. Only have to get through these ads, and then we have one more boss to go, and we're gonna be A-okay. I love that part of the ninja rotation is summoning a gigantic toad. Reminds me of Naruto. Toad summon is a very typical ninja trope skill. I've only ever seen it in Naruto, but I haven't really watched much ninja related stuff. That looks ominous. And there's the last sister. No matter the cost, we must protect the tower. She has an elephant face. Where is the boss exactly? This way. All right. Ooh, this music is nice. By the way, the music is probably way louder for me than it is for you guys. I hope the audio is okay. Like it's not too loud or not too quiet. But this is good. I hate this boss. Oh no! That's gonna be a wipe. If anything, it's a little quiet, but not terrible by any means. Okay, that's good. Was the dialogue earlier, the voiceover, okay? Pulsing is proximity marker. Okay, I'm getting advice from the group. Gotta say, this one here, Kellenven, top tier player. For final boss, use regen plus extra recoup. Okay. I think that's this one. I haven't used this one yet. Place Asylum. I'm getting a healing tutorial over here. Divine Bension. Yeah, I need to use that one more. I keep on forgetting it. What do I have here? need to switch this around. I would like to put my Divine Pension on a easier key. This is a nice shield. I also need to use Temperance more. I haven't gotten the hang of some of my new healing spells. I would like to switch you guys. So. Plenary. Yeah. Why then want it's like this, then I can get plenary. I'm trying to tell my fingers where shit's gonna be. Okay. Oh, this ninja is the cutest. I love them. Okay. So if I use this, I'm gonna put this on everybody. And now it's gonna start doing like crazy shit on the ground, and I just need to stay alive. This is so fast. Nope. Just gotta keep them alive. Just gotta keep them alive. That's all I have to do. Oh, wrong things. Okay, they're starting that shit again. Okay. Put this on everybody. Go in the middle. Shift to the side. Run over there. Run apart. Do damage with the flowers. Can I give you this? What's this? This on, stack, asylum. Keep tank alive. Don't stand in this. I don't know what the fuck a size is. It's probably something I have. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Maybe too close. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. This is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. I am panicking. Don't panic. Calm down. Calm down. Everybody dies if you freak out. Did Not mean to cast Holy. Heal. Okay. Oh, we have to kill the other ones. It's so much shit. Okay, like so. Like so. Keep my ninja friend alive. Yeah, I need to remember to use my lily. Oh no, 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 no! Shit, 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 shoot! Heal myself. Sooner you. Get you up. Move out of this. Okay. Jeez, that was stressful. Are all the dungeons in this one this stressful? It's like they went in like, hi, we're just gonna make the first dungeon really extreme. Oh. That was a lot. That was good. That was really cool. It gets worse. Caliban is gonna get my commendation because they were fucking amazing. I want this. Thank you. I'm getting like emotional support from a ninja. It's amazing. Now I can look around, yeah. It's all so organic. Like this looks like a spinal column. I don't know what this middle thing over there is, but that definitely looks weird. Maybe a heart? These look like spinal columns. And like weird frozen crab legs. That seems to have been the limit of the tower's defenses. They were nimble fighters, I'll give them that. From what I can tell, the summoning appears to be over. No belief is sacred to the Tolferoids. So we are, I think, on the top of the tower. Because we can see over there, I think it's the cliff? Yeah, because we can see over there to like the shoreline. Right. Oh, it has like a blade up there. Let's see. Yeah, this looks really organic in like the worst way, which is disturbing. Alright, let's check out the end cinematic. Oh, everybody gave me a commendation. That's so sweet of them, considering I wiped us. Now, what is this?
Is everyone all right?
Yeah, as okay as we can be.
We fortified the captives with what magics we could. Have the defenses been disabled? All appears quiet for the moment.
The lower floors were disturbing enough, but this place feels wrong. The ether is heavy and thick, like wading through a quagmire.
I believe we stand in the tower's beating heart. What sayest thou, Stola?
I see it.
Ape counting my
Ether
deaths.
siphoned from the land runs up through the spire, flowing to a single point. This is the core we seek. Yet something is off. As large as this structure is, it siphons far more ether than is required to sustain it. 'Tis as if the core is feeding on the energy, consuming it. I need to take a closer look. Curious. There is something there embedded inside the core.
So the core is alive?
A man's limb.
What?
This is what we came to destroy?
Yes, if you would be so kind.
Wait, there's a body part in there? She said limb, so like, I'm guessing body part. A few streams ago we got a death count there. I added in some commands for Streamlabs, which is quite nice.
And that should be the end of it.
Yeah, we could... This is very horror games Fridays.
What now?
My theory that the tower might come crashing down following the core's destruction doth appear to be correct.
Have we gotten the people out?
And how are we supposed to survive the fall?
What of the prisoners below?
Yeah.
The floor beneath our very feet dissolves. Brace yourselves!
I pray I'm not too late.
Please tell me they're alive. Also, does this mean the ugly tower is gone? That would be excellent.
Oh, what happened? Where are we?
I think we're still in the same place, just on the ground.
By my reckoning, we're still on the island where the tower stood. But 'tis as if it never existed. Hardly a scratch. But how?
That does not make sense. Uh-oh. Raha? What kind of a magic did you do exactly?
Graha wove a levitation spell at the last moment. Large enough to catch everyone, it would seem.
Oh, nice. Good job.
That explains the lack of obvious injuries.
The expenditure of so much ether has taken its toll. He will need plenty of rest, but should otherwise be none the worse for wear.
Yeah, can we check if the other people are breathing?
Then the immediate problem is what to do with our new friends here. They'll be much changed for their time in the tower. Even if their bodies are intact, I doubt we could say the same for their minds.
Angelo and I will take care of that.
Yeah, we're gonna need some porksies.
I have every faith in you, Alize, but there are just too many for you to treat alone.
We'll send at once to Eorzea for more porksies, and call on the local mages to lend a hand.
Hail, Scions!
Hey! How you doing, dragon friend?
We were watching the tower when it simply disappeared. What happened here?
The threat is banished, and thy people delivered. They are, however, in need of treatment, and we of a secure locale and helping hands to assist us in its provision.
You shall have all this and more. Come, let us convey these unfortunate souls to the city.
And I'm guessing at least they're all alive. That's a positive. Hey, Estinian. Phew, carrying all those Matanga may have been the true struggle. Yeah, I can imagine. The liberated prisoner are being transported to Ratsatan for treatment. Alisenyi Stola will oversee the administration of tempering treatment, with support from those who know a healing spell or two. Did you try to pet me? We'll go and join them in the city once you've had a moment to catch your breath. Tancred, you patted the air like a full Lalafel's height above me. The hell? You may now enter the Tower Assault with party of NPC avatars. Yeah. I'm not going in there anytime soon. Tancred is arrested and ready to set out. Had enough rest, have you? You never were one for being idle. Right, Varshahan bade us come to Mekaduda of our earliest convenience. The others will join us there once they have finished tending to the prisoners. You would like to see a 24-man raid? I mean, I've done some on the streams. Usually Ape with me. They are much easier because then there's another healer with me. And they usually, you know, heal for a healer and a half. Ah, wait, one second thought. You and Estinian should go on ahead. I need to make a quick detour by the Great Works. We left Graha in the alchemist care, you see. Best to fetch him before he's crammed into a specimen jar. Just you and me then. The guardsmen at the gate should wave us through. They better. Where are we going? We're going to the city. Yay! That was such a cool dungeon though. I like that all the bosses were the three sisters and then we ended up fighting all of them. Because they've introduced them as their main deities so far. So that was pretty cool. They did really pick good bosses. Also, the music was amazing. Now we just have to jog over here like this. How much longer do I have? I have about 15 minutes at most. Like, maybe an hour. Hour-ish. Wait, we've just been streaming for 2 hours, so we have at least an hour. Maybe an hour and a half even, if needed. You should know when it's best for me to take a break. As Ape is the man with the plan when it comes to keeping us all in suspense from week to week. It is amazing. Okay, best stop after a quest called The Color of Joy. Perfect. With the tower gone, I expect that the state of alert will be lifted. Quests after this are lengthy. Okay. Ah, Honored Scion, you are free to enter at your leisure. As I cannot leave my post, I'm afraid you must make your own way. Should you require direction in the city, the sentry stationed at the fountain atop the steps should be glad to assist you. So I should finish the Color of Joy, correct? Just so I'm positive. Though I've been to Ratsatan before, this place is a veritable maze. Rather than risk getting lost, we had best ask for direction from the sentries at the fountain. Lead the way and don't expect me to act as your tour guide like certain others. Astinian is now accompanying you. Well, first we should seek out the sentry in front of the fountain. Nothing else you want to say? Name of the fountain? No idea. Do fountains normally have names? Aw, Astinian, you're adorable. Yeah, this is a relatively big city. Need to start unlocking things. I'm guessing this is the fountain. It's a very distinct look. Ah, Mistress Melicity, I presume. I understand you're here for an audience with the satrap. If you require direction to the Megaduta, I should be glad to provide them. The satrap's residence is situated in Dharma, the highest part of Ratsatan. To get there, I would ordinarily recommend a route that takes you by the bazaar in the city north. Due to the state of alert, however, most businesses are currently closed and the Aetheryte disabled. As such, I will provide you with an alternative path. First, please ascend the steps next to this fountain, then continue left. There will be more steps, and upon ascending them, you will emerge at Paxa's path. Proceed through the large door on the right, and you will arrive at Ruvida Fiber. Within you will find another sentry who will give you further guidance. In other words, we head up. Sound straightforward enough? You should recognize the door on the left. Door on the left. Hold on. I'm trying to find... Oh yeah, I've seen this. From the treasure hunt stuff here. Discuss the sumptuous portal. Ah, yes, I know about this portal. It leads to a nearby isle, the treasure vault of one of Ratsatan's wealthiest families. They took the god of luck for their guardian, on account of which they occasionally open up a section of their vault for aspiring treasure hunters to try their own luck, or so they say. There are also coffers hidden across the land that act as portals. Find one, and you gain access to the vault. Something to bear in mind in case you exhaust your funds while on the road. It's a troublesome experience, as I can personally attest. So Stinian has run out of money at some point during his travels. Wait, I need to go... Not here, I need to go up past the fountain? Up here, but the Aetheryte Plaza is closed, he said? Can I really not attune to the Aetheryte? According to the message on the base, this Aetheryte has temporarily been disabled. Annoying, but fine. Fair enough. I like the city. It's so colorful and pretty. Though I feel the stairs are a little bit racist against Lalafell, just saying. Stinian, carry me, please. Like, we need an animation for Lalafell just kind of crawling up the stairs. Now I need to go this way. Just doing our best trying to get up them. Looking like a toddler trying to go up big stairs. It would be hilarious. me see. So this is where we're supposed to go? Right? Did I go wrong ways? Well, I found my way here somehow. You do know you missed stairs near treasure hunt door that led to this, right? Oh yeah. That's where the guard was telling me to go. Well, I made it, eventually. Heading to the Megaduda, are you? In that case, please follow the hallway to my right and go through the door to the top of the stairs. You'll emerge at the entrance to the airship landing, where another sentry should be on hand to assist you. Incidentally, if you ascend the steps to either side of me, you'll find the workshop of Ruvidia Fiber, though you're free to observe the artisan. Take care not to lose your way. Okay, let's go do that. I was just taking us on the scenic tour, you know. Ah, Thavnarian weave. Hard to imagine more vibrant stuff. I dare say Emmerich would be partial to the gold thread. And the blue, of course. He loves his blue. I've never put much thought into what I wear. A spare set of clothing is usually all I carry, and if that isn't enough, I can always obtain something locally. I put way more thought apparently into my outfit than Estinian does for his. Wait, where was I supposed to go? She said, I think I'm supposed to go here. And there's also an Aetheryte over there. I'm gonna do that one before... Oh, that looks fancy. Okay, let's talk to the guy. Hello, guard person. Where do I go? Sorry. If you're here for an airship, I'm afraid all flights have been suspended until further notice. So the state of alert is still in effect, perhaps is for the best. That aside, we're not here for an airship. We have business at Megaduda. Oh, in that case, permit me to direct you. From here is quite simple, really. Ascend the steps and then continue straight ahead and across the bridge. You cannot miss it. Is that a challenge? Because, dude, you have no idea. Yeah, also, I think the locals probably love it when Estinian needs clothes, considering how much he paid for that hair tie. Man has no sense of money. Okay, across the bridge. And there's only one chest spot on the way. There is an Aetheryte. I've taken that Aetheryte. Wait, I'm back over here. Ah, I remember passing here with Varashan. The situation being as it was, he regretted not being able to show us the sights. Life has yet to return to normal here, but when it does, you ought to pay another visit. Though the city is confusing, the food is quite good. I'm partial to Hamsa myself. The meat's surprisingly tender and flavorful. You're irritating the bird. Have I done this Aetheryte? I don't want to miss out on any. 500,000 gil for a t-shirt. It's the best t-shirt ever sold. Destiny would take it. I have done this one. Okay. Then it was across the bridge, which is like right there. Made of rare weave called hemp. Amazing. But yeah, if you ever travel with me, don't let me figure out the directions. It's... Except if we have a map, then I'm quite good. I can be good with maps. Get another Ethernet thing. And finally, I think we found the castle, or well, the palace. Greetings and welcome to Megaduta. May I inquire about your business? We are members of the Science of the Seven Dawn, come at an invitation of His Excellency. But I have a map. It doesn't count if I have to like put it down and up. It's no, like it's not the same. It's different. It's like city maps make more sense. Of course, we have been expecting you. I will show you into the audience chamber, if you would please follow me. I was gonna say, like, I need a compass, but I know there's also a compass on the map I have up in the corner. At least everybody's here. I think I broke Abe. That's the dragon he was riding in the trailer, I think.
Are we the last to arrive? I hope we've not kept you waiting.
No, it's fine.
Not at all. Your comrade is feeling better, I trust.
Much better, thank you.
Cat, you left so much hair on me.
Certainly potent, in more ways than one.
One becomes accustomed to the taste, although I hope you never have cause to do so. Pray, take your ease.
I mean, isn't part of the remedies that it's so wild tasting that you immediately get better so you don't have to taste it again?
Full glad I am to see you all unharmed.
Yeah, you did good. I'm proud of you.
Valiant scions, for your heroism, you have my boundless gratitude. You cast down that dire tower and set free its hapless captives. You cleanse their souls of its corrupting influence. No words of thanks will suffice. In place of platitudes, I offer a bounty of warding scales. Pray accept your due reward, along with the goodwill of Radzatan.
Alchemists throughout the land were put to work in the forging of your talismans. The finished ones have been collected, and now await you at the High Crucible of Alchemia. Present this letter when you are ready to take them into your possession.
We are humbled by your generosity. Know that the inventive wisdom of Radzatan will be vital in restoring serenity to our star.
Every single one of those scales came from you, didn't they? You must still be in such pain.
Yeah, that's...
'Tis of no moment. A mere annoyance compared to the dreadful suffering inflicted upon this land and its people.
I mean, I know he has a lot of scales, but still, that has to be so painful.
Albeit brief, my involvement in the Dragonsong War afforded me a glimpse of the myriad sorrows which consumed both dragon and man. Though you were half a world away, such tragedies as befell your kin must have affected you deeply. And yet, you chose to live among men.
In the age when that conflict first bloomed, my choice had already been made. In some distant place, man slew dragon, and dragon slaughtered man. Yet no hate could I muster for those smiling faces which did look to me for guidance. Not even my brother's righteous rage could rally me to his cause. I huddled here, secret and still, hoping against hope that which I had built would remain untouched by the chaos and carnage.
So he never took part in any of it.
'Twould seem we share the same desire for peace, great Vritra. To that end, I wonder if we might trouble you with another question. The Telophoroi are intent on recreating the final days, an apocalyptic event which we know to predate the sundering of the star. As the longest lived among us, know you aught of this terrible cataclysm?
Nay. When war and strife drove my sire from his home, he crossed the great expanse with only our unhatched eggs as company. He alighted upon a shattered source, its 13 reflections long since scattered beyond the rift. Of events preceding his arrival, he knoweth naught, save that which Hydralin hath deigned to disclose.
I see. So again, 'tis the inscrutable Hydaelyn to whom you must look for answers.
Seek you to divine the will of this star? If so, I have a tale which may afford you some small comfort.
Okay. Lord, please. And thank you.
'Tis a story from my youth, many, many years ago. To my sire, I once posed the question, of all the stars in the sky, why didst thou settle upon this one? To which Midgardsormr did reply, 'twas the last bastion of hope. He believed so long as Hydaelyn endured, so too might dragonkind. Solemn and portentous were his words. What deeper meaning they held, I could not, dared not pursue. 'Tis a stone I've left unturned ever since. Yet take you solace in the knowledge that whatsoever Hydaelyn does strive towards, 'tis an ideal which hath earned my sire's conviction.
Thank you, Vritra. You've given us warm reassurance in a world gripped by cold uncertainty.
While I'm sure we all have a great many questions, I think it's time we collect the talismans and be on our way. Our fight against the Telophoroi is far from finished.
Yeah, but at least we know the towers can be dealt with now. And those within can be saved.
We must take our leave, but please do inform us if we can provide any further assistance.
So that is a big positive.
Prithee, a moment. There is one whom my sire hath judged worthy of honor and respect. The one known to men as Eorzea's champion. This hero of renown and rumor, 'tis thee.
That would be correct. Midgardsormr and I have crossed paths, yes.
I knew it to be so. From man and dragon alike have I learned of thine exploits. 'Twas a revelation most pleasing that thou, a child of man, had gained Midgardsormr's trust. But alongside mine elation runneth a rivulet of dread. For upon thy life's reel wind too many threads of fate, power, wheel enmeshed with woe. Amidst this tangled knot thou shalt know no rest. 'Tis an endless confluence of forces, a struggle without surcease. More terrible still is the attrition wrought upon thy companions, as they are swept up in the storm of thine existence.
I mean, I don't mean to put them in danger.
Take heart and protect them well. They will be your strength and your salvation. The hope thou wilt need come the end. Even cowering behind my curtain, I know the suffering of the powerful. I have watched my siblings driven mad by loss. Thus do I exhort thee to spare no effort to keep thy loved ones safe.
This feels very ominous, like a forebearer to losing everybody. Hi, twins.
Apologies. We hadn't meant to interrupt.
It's just that we do have a history of suddenly collapsing, and when you didn't follow us out...
'Tis I who must apologize. I have detained your champion overlong with idle chatter. Go. At war's end, I pray I welcome thee back into my hall, where together with thy joyful comrades, you may toast your triumph.
I look forward to it. It's gonna be lovely. We'll have to bring Tataru over. I think she would have a field day with trying out the teas over here and then yelling at Estinian for wasting money on hair ties. Hey guys. Our apologies again. I hope we didn't force you to conclude your conversation prematurely. No, it was fine. So, what were you and Vritra talking about? Just stuff. Nothing? Very well, if you say so. The others have gone ahead to the High Crucible. Let's catch up to them. The Colors of Joy, okay. I get Archon Loaf. Alphino has a mind to join the others at the High Crucible. The attendant was kind enough to give me direction to High Crucible. First, let us return to the Mulberry Orchard. Estinina would have a great little afternoon tea with Tataru and Kyle for sure. Yeah. Then maybe he would get like an immediate lesson on prices and how to haggle. Or if she preaches Tataru, she'll have 15 pints, get into a fight, smoke all night and vomit everywhere before collapsing in bed. True, Preacher's Tataru is the best Tataru. I don't think, though, she would make it up any of the stairs. She would die on the way. We would have to carry her. You understand that the mulberries are for the silkworm? Grown a stone throws away from Sathrap's residence. It gives it a quintessential Thavnarian flair, don't you think? From here, we're supposed to follow the path left and past the mulberries. Okay. Left and past the mulberries. This place is so pretty. See, this is how they should have it. Like, that I barely have to go anywhere before I see my guides again. The word "you" apparently means bind in the local tongue, and this district is so named because it connects all the others in the city. If we manage to come this far, we shouldn't have trouble finding the High Crucible, or so I was told. Where the street turns, enter the door straight ahead and then descend the steps. I thought the Crystarium was confusing, but it doesn't compare to Ratsatan. The architecture and decoration make it even harder to get your bearings. Anyway, let's see where this door takes us. I do know minimaps. I have the minimap. It's right here. I use it. I do look at it sometimes. I follow the little thing that says the colors of joy, and it points in the general direction of where I should kind of be going. But cities just have so many turns in them. You can't just go straight. Phew, it seems we're on the right track. And there is the Aetheryte Plaza. So far so good. And there isn't much further to go. From here, we just need to cross to the other side of the hall, then pass through the larger of the two doorways. The High Crucible lies beyond. I suspect the other have already collected the warding scales. Come, let us join them. Okay, big door. Go through the big door. Sounds like a plan. Can I not do the Aetheryte at all? Unfair. Hey! Tinkrit and Uri and Jay. You took your time. Got turned around, I take it? No, I did not get lost this time. Though this land be afforded a respite, in turmoil do many other language still. Our work is far from finished. Isn't this the place they are talking in the trailer? No, I think that was more outside though. Okay, look at this though. I'll go talk to them in a second, but this... I like this. This looks nice. All the different colors. It looks like a casino. Nobody knows. Nobody would ever think I got lost. As I heard it, after you defeated Nidhogg, his scales found their way into the hands of the firmament artisans. Steeped in power as they are, it's no surprise that they were coveted. Still, it is a strange legacy for a vengeful worm. I'm quite well now, I assure you. As they say, the stronger the taste and stranger the colour, the more effective the remedy. With my body trying to replenish the ether I spent, however, I'm feeling rather famished. I think a sampling of the local delicacies is in order. Hamza cuisine would be a good place to start, perhaps. The students have previously turned to Ratsatan, alchemist, to help with analysis of various artifacts. That is how I became acquainted with Nidana. I'm glad we could rescue her and pray she makes a full recovery. Excellent. You're in time to hear the latest good news. Okay. What an immense laboratory. How many such places were enlisted to help forge the warding scales, I wonder? We're last, of course, but at least we found the place. I mean, we're here. That is what matters.
These are the talismans we were promised.
I think so, yeah.
Yes, and I made a quick count. There are far more than we could have hoped for.
Oh, I like the stamp thing they put on. Like, it's not a stamp, but to keep it closed.
Soldiers, in fact. Considering the involved process, that they were able to manufacture so many in such a short span of time is nothing short of a miracle.
Once we have distributed them to our allies in Eorzea and the Far East, we'll have a fighting chance to bring down the other spires, just as we did with the Tower of Zot.
We have to tell them to be ready with levitation magic.
Or we could use them to invade Garlemald proper, and strike directly at the Telophoroid's base of operations.
Can we do both?
Of course, we would need to consult with various alliance leaders before such a drastic measure could even be contemplated. To which end, I could set out forthwith and present the idea to each of our allies in person.
Pray allow me to undertake some few of those journeys. I find myself restless and in need of purposeful duties.
Okay.
I can head eastward. Bosnia and Dalmasca are just a short hop from here. And Doma's shinobi network should come in handy for passing on the word.
We shall share the burden then. Meanwhile, I think it best that you and the others take the talismans back to the Baldessian Annex. We must keep them safe and secure until we've decided upon a course of action.
Aye, aye.
Please, I must speak with you.
Hey, Nidana! You okay? She looks okay.
Nidana, you're awake.
Yes. When I spoke with the carer at my bedside, she told me that one of the scions, a young woman, had cleansed me of the tower's corruption.
That would be Alice.
It seems I'd been asleep ever since the treatment. But when I awoke and learned you were all still here, I knew I had to come. As you said, Nidana was captured only recently. Such a brief exposure is swiftly cured, so I tended to her before we gathered at Megaduta. And I am truly grateful that you did. I cannot thank you enough. All of you, for everything you've done. Destroying the tower, rescuing our people. You saved Havnir from an awful fate.
Oh. See, you even got Stinian smiling.
Saved whom? Due in no small part to thine inspirational courage, the alchemists were successful in reproducing warding scales of proven efficacy. Replications of thy work now stand ready to travel across the seas, unto the hands of those who might wield them against this rising evil.
The talisman? Is this true?
Yeah. Nobody had a chance to tell her yet.
Oh, I was so groggy from sleep. I didn't even think to ask. Oh, our great work sent across the seas. It was worth it. Oh, it was all worth it.
Please don't cry. Why am I glowing? Oh!
Look at that. Its color is completely changed.
What does yellow mean?
What do you have there?
It's an emotional ring in a flower form. It's very cool.
How unusual. I wonder if the effect is a reaction to Akasha. I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that term. Akasha? It is one of the unseen energies defined by Harnish alchemical theory. Though a gross oversimplification, some describe it as an essence influenced by feelings.
You imply that it is distinct from ether?
Foreign scholars often conflate the two, but we see them as separate concepts. Ether is an energy which permeates the land. It exists within animals, objects, even the air we breathe, affecting all through which it flows. Akasha, on the other hand, exists in a domain beyond our reach, a gift bestowed from on high, or torn from the heavens in some traditions. Akasha can neither be created nor destroyed. It is beyond our power to purposefully alter or manipulate. The only thing observed to influence it is an abundance of, I want to say, spiritual emotion. As a veteran of the battlefield, surely you've experienced moments of desperation or exaltation when you've transcended the usual limits of your capabilities. That is a manifestation of Akasha, the invisible essence harnessed by heart, mind, and unyielding spirit.
I really must hear more about this theory. Our disciplines are based entirely upon the idea that ether is the fundamental form of all energy.
I'm glad my haphazard explanation has piqued your interest. But even for us, Akasha is a somewhat abstract field of study. A lack of practical application lends itself poorly to formalized research.
Maybe the flowers could be used for it.
Which is why my analysis of your flower can amount to little more than idle speculation. I am sorry.
Nonsense! You have nothing to be sorry for. Your insight is much appreciated.
I'm guessing yellow is
Shall
either
we depart
happiness
for
or
Thalion,
hope.
then? I will see to it that the talismans arrive at the annex.
And we will be in touch once our talks are concluded. I suggest you rest while you can. From here onward, sleep is bound to be in short supply.
This is such a lovely quest to end on. Abe, this was an excellent choice as a final quest. Idana, the last thing I remember before being absorbed into the tower was you rushing towards me. I can only imagine the hardship you and yours must have to overcome to rescue us. No amount of words will suffice to express my gratitude, but I hope the flower's radiant glow says everything I cannot. Oh, it could also be gratitude. Yellow seems to be very good, like positive color to have. White was stress. Like, it's not... White was not great, even though it looks really pretty. Now, we need to go to the annex. Just up the road here, and then to the right. It's this house. Have I opened this ether shard? Yes. Oh, hey, Kyle. It's good to be back, and with the fruit of our labor safely in storage. For now, we have to but wait for the others to return from their respective meeting with the Alliance leaders. As Thancred suggested, you should get some rest in the meantime. Welcome back, Melicity. Kryler has appraised me of your recent accomplishment. What an amazing feat to eliminate a tower and to pave the way to deal with the rest. While this much, I've changed your sheet and plumped up your pillow. After all, there's nothing like a collapsing in a nice clean bed after completing a major milestone. Be it penning a thesis or defeating deformed entities. So would you like to take a look on your new and improved lodging now? Yes, please. So I'm guessing we're going to end on a cinematic. And it's white again. Interesting.
Take heart and protect them well.
Are all my friends gonna die in this expansion? Like, this feels really ominous. This warning of his.
Good, you're here. You haven't eaten yet, have you? We've bought quite a spread if you're interested. Only the finest dining from the last stand.
God, I love these characters. They're so nice. Oh, they brought donuts and cakes and hamburgers. Poor Graha is starving. Actually animated the food quite well.
Lest you wonder, we invited Estinian as well. But he refused with a rather grim-faced, "No, thank you." I suspect Charlian cuisine is not to his liking.
He probably thought we were going to offer him Markon loaf.
Oh, I don't know about that. Perhaps our lone wolf just needed some time apart.
What? To perfect his brooding stare? Next time, I'll drag him out by the ear, sit him down in front of a Charlian feast, and see that he eats every last bite.
An excellent idea. Of all people, warriors must take proper meals and rest if they are to maintain a healthy constitution.
Poor Estinian, beset on all sides.
Poor thing doesn't have a chance.
Speaking of one's physical condition, Mistress Cryle, I hear you recently played literal host to Heidelin herself.
And what an experience that was. Tiring, yes, but no lasting harm done. If anything, I should have liked to speak with her longer. I've not felt a hint of her presence since.
It's kind of funny. I think Cryle has a smaller coat than I have.
To carry that flower, yes?
Yes. It's on my shelf right now. Is it yellow?
'Twill be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. And then something about seeking joy in darkness, was it? Come to think of it, isn't that what happened with Nidana back in Radzat Han?
The flower did seem to radiate a joyful glow.
Yeah, look, my mug is like huge next to
we all felt.
next to everybody else's.
Of a people with renewed hope.
Why is mine so big?
Indeed. And in turn, I felt buoyed by that radiance. 'Twas akin to spotting a beacon and knowing we were on the right path. I know we've not yet triumphed over the Telophoroi, or learned the full breadth of the Forum's plans. But even within the midst of our struggles, we find small moments of joy to sustain us. Rare and hard-won perhaps, but But it is this pursuit of happiness that gives us the strength to carry on day after day.
I should be holding it like this. Like, why do I have such a huge mug?
Hey, mine.
To the swift the spoils. Though I recall that levitation spell of yours was quick enough.
Only barely. And even at my best, I'm still too slow to wield it effectively in battle. Mayhap I simply require more practice with this new magic.
You unearthed it from the depths of Numenon, I presume?
Aye, and from a veritable mountain of arcane tomes at that. 'Twas necessary to facilitate my solitary explorations.
Or, to put it simply, you used it to sneak around the Forbidden Archives.
Yes, well, after a fashion. They're tall, you see. The shelves, they're too tall for me. And I could hardly move the library's platforms without attracting attention now, could I?
Oh.
I mean, they are very tall. I understand your struggles, man. Again, that focus on the moon. Are we pushing on until dawn?
I'm not that ambitious. But 'tis pleasant to idle away the hours every once in a while.
It is. If you leave, please leave all the rest of the food with me. Thank you. Green. Huh. Maybe contentment? Feeling at peace? Of course, seeing this person does not make me feel at peace at all. No, I know there's not much left to leave, but I did see a donut there and a macaron, and I would like to have those.
The bracing cold, I see.
Hey, for
You
Daniel.
not own a warm coat or a cloak? Something in fur, or fashioned from the skins of your enemies, or... well, never mind that. I come to you once more as the bearer of bad news. Our tower in Thavnir has been toppled, and I need not tell you by whom. Given how many we have at our disposal, the loss of a single spire is hardly fatal to our plans. It does, however, slow the rate at which we siphon ether. If they continue to preoccupy themselves with the towers, then all will be well. But should our foe prove bold enough to strike at us here, then the timing becomes questionable.
Our foe is bold enough. Of that, I can assure you.
Yes, very well then. I suppose I must prepare a proper welcome. Honestly, talk of your nemesis is the only thing you seem to enjoy. Does nothing else spark your interest?
No. All else is... equal.
equally disappointing. The world is a tepid bog into which we sink, too weak to thrash as the mud clings to our eyes and fills our throats till we blissfully choke. But then came the light, blinding and pure and hot, so very hot, enough to set my soul aflame. I basked in the afterglow until the void yawned once more, and then I knew the muck would never claim me again. There was naught for me ahead, so I drew the curtain on all that had come before. Burn, burn, let the whole star burn. I will have my contest. I will reclaim my moment.
At least he has a goal. You know.
How wonderful that the emptiness of death has not dissuaded you from committing your life to its pursuit once more. I don't know whether to envy you or pity you.
You really should stop talking, buddy, or he's gonna decapitate you.
You question my disinterest, but what of yours? Despite your noisome antics, I sense you take little pleasure in this endeavor.
Mercy, my lord. Such pointed barbs from one who barely acknowledges my existence. Nevertheless, you are mistaken, for I do find this part somewhat enjoyable. You see, when I was mortal, I would always have the same dream. It was a fragmented thing, disjointed, all the faces incomplete. The setting, too, was unknown to me, so I thought it simply a fantasy of my sleeping mind. Until one day, I realized it was showing me the truth. Much as your dream of the final days enlightened you. And soon, very soon, the rest of the world will see the truth of my dream, too. Yes, I think that is something we can both enjoy.
Is he planning to drop the moon on the planet or something? They keep on focusing on the moon. Well then. Let's go over to just chatting. That was quite nice, wasn't it? It's good to see that... Oh, sorry. It's good to see that Xenos is still, you know, eager to fight with us. Everything is as it should be. I woke the cat. Oopsie. It's just a matter of, you know, figuring out how to deal with Xenos and Van Daniel, like, as a unit. I am curious about the flower. I think yellow means hope or joy, and green is probably sort of content. Happy content. I think so. At least I think green is like milder happiness than the yellow one. Yellow seems more like an extreme feeling, while the green seems lighter in a way. I don't know. I need to find like one of those old mood rings and try to figure out what the colors were meant to mean. Obviously they just were based on like the temperature of your hands. So that, as soon as I learned how they worked, I was like, then that's not that exciting. But they're still quite neat. I do like it that we have a flower thing. Can I see it in my room? Hold on. I'm checking out my bedroom. If it's at the unending journey? No. They took all the cakes. Lame. So mean. Well, you could always hope. But yeah, I think this is quite nice. I am excited to see where this goes. Obviously, now that we have the scales, we can have people go in and do things, like attack the towers without us having necessarily have to be there. And maybe we can have a smaller force go to Garlemald and start dealing with things over there. We're gonna have to see it next week when we have everybody come back from talking with the leaders. So that's gonna be kinda neat. Yeah. I don't know what I should talk about. I think this was quite nice. On Friday we're gonna go back into Outlast. I'm very excited. That one was so much fun. So if you're not here for Friday horror, I highly recommend checking out the Outlast one. You sent me a color chart. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. Yellow is pride, self-love, or... I'm going to open the original so I can see this better. Or awareness? Oh, orange is pride. Okay. Hey. Oh, Strider, you should check out the Outlast board. And also, I've done highlight from it. You could check it out as sort of a... get an idea of what to expect. It was really fun. It was so fun. Green is bountiful satisfaction. Okay. So, satisfaction, yeah. So green is, so yellow is like happy and pride, and green is satisfied. Blue is clarity. Purple is leadership, and red is creativity or anger. Can also be... What did I think of the dungeon aesthetic? Mechanics and music? I quite like the... Hi. Please go into your bed. Oh, pardon me. I quite like the dungeon. It was very hard. I wasn't expecting how fierce the final boss would be with just everything happening at the same time. That felt really unforgiving, but quite fun. The music, though, great music. This expansion's battle music is quite good. It feels fitting for the expansion. You want my fidget cube? Cat is... I have a fidget infinity cube that I tend to mess with. Cat thinks it's a toy. But I quite liked it. It was really fun, and visually it looked amazing. Especially the bosses, because they really fit with what we've seen before. Why do you like my fidget toy so much? You're such a silly bean. Hold on, I'm gonna try to get her on camera. She rubs against all my stuff. Don't know why she's like this. But yeah, I really liked it. I like the visuals of Thavnir. Thavnir is so bright and colorful, and it was such a nice contrast to then go into the tower, which has this kind of biomechanical look, which looks really disturbing. Oh, the bosses were from Final Fantasy IV, and so was dungeon and dungeon music. Oh, that is really cool. It always surprises me how much they use from the previous games. It's quite nice. It's a good reference for those who have actually played the other games, as I haven't played any of them. Nothing really looks that familiar to me, but I like it. It's surprising how much the Final Fantasy games seem to connect in a way, like they're just alternative universes, because we keep on seeing reoccurring themes and enemies. Hey. So that's quite nice. In Final Fantasy IV, the tower was more technological than biological, but Sot and the sisters were there. Oh. Oh, Mr. Crow has tried Final Fantasy XV. Is it any good? It looks fun with the car and everything. It looks very light-hearted. The next Final Fantasy game that's coming out does not look light-hearted, but looks interesting. The pixel remasters are very cheap on stream and hold okay. Yeah, I think it's something we might do in the future on Sundays. On Sundays, when we finally have caught up with Final Fantasy and want to take a little bit of a break from it, we will do some story-heavy games, something that's not horror, and then maybe some of the other Final Fantasy games. Oh, you don't remember? You didn't make it very far? Aw, shame. Maybe we'll play it someday on stream. Never know. I do know I want to play the new Final Fantasy game on stream. Oh, the Final Fantasy XV launch was pretty rough and incomplete, but they patched it up and finished it in the long run. Most people are pretty positive on it now. Oh, it's always a shame when that happened. There are so many great games that start off so rough. Developers really need to start being more careful when releasing games. It's always sad when a great game gets a bad reputation just because it came out in a bad state. Like Cyberpunk is really good. It has a really good story. It's very fun. The gameplay though is terrible. It's just because it came out in a terrible state, and it still has a lot of issues. And I think that's a shame, because I finished it and it was really good. I quite enjoyed the story. And there are just too many games that come out broken, and that ruins the first time experience. And often after the first time experience, a game doesn't get a second chance. And it leads to the game getting a bad reputation, the company getting a bad reputation, and then we lose out on like great stories. Yeah, I heard Witcher 3 also came out in a very poor state, which is really sad, because what I've played of Witcher 3 is very good. I've never finished it, but I've played good chunks of it. I've gone to the island. That's not very descriptive. There's like a Viking-ish island that we go to. We go to a party with Jennifer. I quite like Jennifer. I enjoyed the non-combat because I could shoot through walls, which was fun. I like games that allow you to do things without always doing combat, being sneaky and such. Oh, No Man's Sky, yeah. You preferred No Man's Sky at lunch, not a fan of multiplayer, like the solo exploration and discovery. Do you not have an option to play solo? Is it forced multiplayer now? Because it seemed like a very excellent solo game, maybe something you would play with friends. But yeah, I remember they said like there would be billions of planets and you could meet other people and stuff. And then none of it was in the game. I never played it, but I remember following the drama on YouTube. It was very fun. It was just the moments of like, oh my god, this developer lied so much. Which is really, really a shame. But yeah, good story games are often ruined by just coming out in a bad state. You lost so many bases and great planets with updates and resets. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a game that would work well with that. I do remember seeing what the ending was, like if you get to the center of the galaxy, when somebody finally got to the center, which was I think the goal of the game, and then it kind of just zooms you out and starts you off. I remember seeing that video and go like, oh no, because I thought there would be some like great secret at the center, and then it wasn't. Like it was cool, but considering like all the work the person had put in, and then that was the ending, it was like, oh no. I understand why they're a little bit annoyed. But I've heard it's gotten really, really good now. Oh, what am I playing on the side? As not on streams? Currently I'm playing Dragon Age Inquisition and Spider-Man, the PC release that just came out. So those are my two like games. I also like playing at 2 Point Campus from time to time. I just recently finished Not Tonight, the first one. I got the second one ready. But yeah, I've been playing through the Dragon Age games again. So I've reached Inquisition and I'm closing in on being done with it. I was doing one of the main DLC yesterday with the like going underground, everything. It was so cool. It was really fun. Though even if I'm playing the game on easy, like the easiest difficulty, everything has such a huge health. It's just god damn. It takes so long time to kill anything. How do I like Inquisition? Oh, I love it. Cole is my favorite character. He's such a sweetie. I really like the concept of the Inquisition and the story. I'm very curious where the story is gonna go in Dreadwolf. I finished Inquisition once before, but then I didn't have any of the DLC. Playing through it again now, because like I played through it when it first came out, and then I haven't played through it again. It's really weird because now I look obviously at Solus differently. So I haven't been traveling as much with him. He kind of annoys me. I wish I could be a non-Dalish elf. I play a mage, so I decided to go human, but I would have liked to go an elf. But I just don't want to be a Dalish elf. I don't like their culture that much. So it's nice, but I just don't connect with it, so I'm human. Sadly, you can't be a mage dwarf, but I like playing mages. You only played it once at lunch and don't remember too much about it anymore. It's quite good. It has some really good moments. My favorite moment in the game is that when you finish like the first act of the game and go into the big part of the story the later half, there is actually a music number. It was so good. You haven't traveled with Solus either. He's just not a very interesting character to travel with. I usually take Varric with me. I often take Cole with me because Cole has a lot of interesting perspective on things. Varric is just fun. Sometimes I take the Iron Wall because he is also a very fun character. Sometimes I take Cassandra. Taken Blackwall a few times too. It's kind of hard to pick. Sometimes I try to take Iron Bull and Dorian because apparently they start flirting with one another at some point. I ended up romancing Isabella. Not Isabella. Why do I not remember her name right now? Our diplomat. I'm romancing the diplomat. That's quite nice. It's the only romance in the game that does not have a sex scene, so I decided to give that a go because I always find sex scenes in games to be really uncomfy. I prefer to be like out of that. I would be really happy if they would offer asexual romances in games, because I like the romances. I like getting that connection with my character. I just would like to skip out on the sex scenes because they make me super uncomfy. They just feel off all the time. Just give me like a checkbox going like, can we just skip this one? Just like, I don't want to see this. But I don't know. It's important for some people, so I understand why it's in the game. But I was very pleasantly surprised when I learned that if you romance the diplomat, there's actually not a sex scene. You just have like a really sweet scene in front of the fireplace. I quite like that. You like Sarah? Oh, Sarah is fun. I like all the little missions she gives you on the tactical board. Just all her little crazy plots, especially the ones which involves making bee bombs, which is just amazing. But it's fun because all of them just involve shenanigans, and that's quite nice. I haven't traveled much with her, but she is quite fun. You think it would be nice if it was at least an option. By making it required, it sort of just feels like a reward for doing the relationship right. Yeah, exactly. It's always played as the final goal of the relationship. It's like, oh, and now you get the sex scene. It's like, I don't want that. That's not what I'm doing the relationship for, because I usually like the character and it's so much fun. Bixby is gonna talk to us in a second.
I didn't understand that.
I know. You never understand anything. Bixby actually does understand what I say, she just can't figure out what I want right now. I'm actually pleasantly surprised how well Bixby understands my accent. I thought this thing would be so much worse. You never did your relationship right with Morrigan? I always played female characters, so I couldn't have one with Morrigan. But I quite liked her. I became a good friend with her. She's a fun character. Kind of funny to see her now in my fortress with a kid. You would want sex first, easier, then focus on feeling and such. Yeah. That makes sense. It's like, it would make more sense for it to be like physical focus first and then connection. I think Iron Bull has a bit of a relationship like that. Starts more physical and then it becomes closer. Yeah, I think it's neat. I would just like them to explore it a bit more. Also, just offer a bit more variety when it comes to like the ending scenes. It doesn't always have to be sexual. It could be just deeper connection, good moments and stuff like that. Especially how you meet a lot of party members in bars and inns. Exactly! It would make more sense for it to start as a fling and then develop. That could be like a really fun story to explore. There are good possibilities. But I need to go. I need to have some dinner because, lunch is dinner. I am so hungry. So I'm gonna go make myself a sandwich and have a little bit of a snack. Feed the cat. She's gonna be very happy with that. And hopefully I will see you guys on Friday for a bit more Outlast. Imagine the final scene of a relationship, baking muffins together. Oh, that would be so nice. Thank you for being here. You're all lovely. And just thank you. Hopefully I will have a house in Final Fantasy by the end of this week, and I will have to make a video on that going like, I got a house. I'm trying to do things. That's so nice. So Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I hope I see you on Friday, and if not on Friday, then next Sunday. But for now, I hope you have a lovely weekend. Bye bye.